Just watch how the mainstream media covers RFK running for president. This is, and they barely covered it all, you know, some little article here and there, but wait, it's muted. Jesus. These fucking pop-up shit show windows can go. God damn. Okay.
He is an outspoken anti-vaccine activist. Robert F.
All right, now that I actually have it working, Jesus Christ. Dude, you got all those fucking sticky things jumping all over. You got to play whack-a-mole with a goddamn video to try and hit. I wanted to.
Kennedy Jr. is running for president. The former environmental lawyer submitted his paperwork with the Federal Election Commission yesterday. Kennedy is an outspoken anti-vaccine activist known for spreading the debunked theory that vaccines cause autism. The son of late Senator Robert F. Kennedy is the second Democrat to join the 2024 race. Self-help author Marianne Williamson announced in March. President Biden is also expected to announce a bid for re-election.
All right. Now, here's my issue with this is I assume RFK Jr. has a lot of stances on a lot of things. Yes, he's focused recently on vaccine stuff, but he's fucking covered a lot of things over his years. Used to be an environmental lawyer, covered a lot of things. Yet this is all he is to the mainstream media, right? Is one issue. Now imagine if any of the horrible shit that Joe Biden has been responsible for, that was like part of his name. Like if it were war criminal Joe Biden is announced he'll be running for president, or proven racist and longtime friend of Strom Thurmond and sexual assaulter Joe Biden is running for president. Like imagine it was part of his name. That is how the mainstream media deals with RFK Jr. It is completely different. You notice she said Joe Biden there. She didn't say war criminal Joe Biden. She didn't say overseeing some of the largest oil drilling in the world, Joe Biden. So other candidates and Marianne Williamson gets just self-help guru. That's how she was defined right there. So other candidates get to have either their name just fucking shit. All right. Other candidates get to have their name just stand alone, but not in this case. And it would be the same of anyone who is outside the acceptable empire's talking points. Any of us. If I were to run for president, if Matt Taibbi, who was just attacked on MSNBC, were to run for president, go down the list. If you're outside of this, of the mainstream media's talking points and what is allowable, you are a pariah and you will be attacked even in just your name, like your name. It would, like, if I were to run for president, it would say Russian comedian Lee Camp or something. Even though I'm not Russian, never been Russian, never a day in my life have I been a Russian. Have I been a goddamn Ruski? So that is the way they cover this in order to delegitimize him from day one. And by the way, this is not even why I'm going to tell you he can't win. I'll tell you in a minute. So again, here's New York Times. It's in the title. Apparently his name now is vaccine skeptic. Even though in the let's see if they have that other sentence. Here it is. Mr. Kennedy wrote on Twitter that his priority would be to end the corrupt merger between state and corporate power. Now, if that were his main goal, that is a fucking important goal. And New York Times know that they made that the headline. Man who wants to end corrupt corporate state merger, RFK Jr. running for president. That sounds pretty good to most people, right? So that's how they do their propaganda, is they want to define him as one thing, and they want to stop him early. But here's the real reason what would happen. And first of all, they would try and rig the primary, or they will try and rig the primary if he gets any traction. They'll rig it the same way they rigged it against Bernie Sanders. As the DNC said in court, they said, we have no obligation. We have no legal obligation to have a legit primary. We could go into a back room and pick the winner in a smoke-filled room. Those are the DNC lawyers in front of a court said that. So that's number one. And number two, why he can't win a primary against Joe Biden is, and I was one of the few that covered this, honestly. I don't say that about many things, but I was one of, honestly, I think 3 to 5 people on independent media who covered this when it happened. The DNC, this past election cycle, when Joe Biden was running and Bernie was running again, they did something that got very little coverage at the time, and the way they worded it made it sound a little confusing. But it said that the DNC can stop anyone, even the winner of the primary, from being the candidate for president. So you got to win the primary, right? Then you become the candidate for president of the Democratic Party. Even if you win the primary, it said it could stop them from being the presidential candidate if their writings and speakings are not in line with the Democratic Party. Now think about that. That means the DNC, the corporate Democrat fucking cabal that runs the Democratic Party, can at any time say, yeah, that guy, that man or female, that dude or lady is not a legitimate Democrat, so they're not our candidate. End of story. It could be after the primaries. You could have that whole fucking 2-year lead up, everybody voting across the country, going into the fucking machines and the pushing on the black box machines who it is you want, and all of that happens. And the winner, they try and rig it. They try so hard. They almost failed to rig it against Bernie in 2016, but they try so hard to rig it, and then they become the candidate. And at that point, after all of that, and this is what I believe they would have done actually in 2020 against Bernie, but at that point, they can go, yeah, about that whole primary thing. So the things you've been saying aren't really good for us. So yeah, you're not legit Democratic Party material. So you're not our candidate. That's now in the laws of the DNC. And so I can guarantee you that if an RFK were to get to that point, that he would have win the primary. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think it's still legitimate to run, to force issues out there, to have people talk about things. He can force people to talk about it. But as I often say, electoral politics at the federal level should be about 5% of your political discussions. About 5%.